from the Anacostia Arts Center, from Nubian Human in the Anacostia Arts Center in historic Anacostia, Southeast Washington, D.C., and this is the Neighborish live cast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Super Dave, a.k.a. Mr. Incredible, and with me, as always, is D.C.'s native son, the FC3 representative. I was waiting for your A.
I was checking the people, checking in.
Hey! The son is in the building.
I am.
And guest hosting with us today is one of my favorite people. And she has on a very dope shirt. I appreciate the biggie shirt. It's nice. Boss Ladey's in the building. Welcome.
Hey.
Thank you for being our guest host for today. Yes, you were on.
Dave level.
Now, like I was telling her, it's a condenser mic, so you know this. You got to speak right.
No, it wasn't on actually.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. My bad. And our guest today is a good friend of mine, a young lady who has worked with me for a while now, about a year and a half. And very funny young lady. She's a comedian and IT professional in the DC area. Ashley Brown is with us.
Hey.
What's going on?
Yeah, so we're gonna talk to her about all the stuff that she's doing. I'm very proud to have her. She's like a superhero to me because she's done one of the things that I want to do, which is left a job to pursue your career more specifically. And that's a dream that a lot of people have. And so anybody that can do that is pretty cool in my book. And my book is a bestseller. No, but before right. Well, some people seen it. It's on the shelf. They judge the book by the cover, and that's the problem. Though. Anyway, but before we get into all of that, there's some things going on in the city, in the country, in the world that we need to talk about, and we're going to talk about it today. Let's get into it. Now, first I want to start with, did you guys see the All-Star game?
I did.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually stayed up and watched the whole game.
It was good.
Really? Who won? I was at work.
Team LeBron.
Team LeBron. And so
it came down to 1 point of the last.
Yeah, it was a free throw.
Wow. So it was that good. Now,
it was good.
I'm going to have to check that out. All right. So a lot of people have been talking about Shaka Khan singing the national anthem. And I saw, the clip. You hear my voice? I saw the clip from and I don't think it was necessarily that bad. Singers. I work with a lot of singers. Yeah, I know you work with a lot of singers throughout our careers, and she's one of those people who can do things that a lot of people, a lot of singers wish they could, and so everybody has an off day. So that's what I kind of chalk it up to. I seen a lot of stuff people saying it was, because it's been documented that she was present around the time that Whitney and Bobby was doing their thing. So a lot of people was going in on, it's crack and all this stuff. It was not that bad. Yeah, she's been around for a long time, but she was there, in some of the limos with them. But anyway, so a lot of people saying a lot of stuff about it. I didn't think it was that bad. I think she just had an off day. I haven't seen, the only person I've ever seen, every performance I've ever seen, they never missed a note or had an off day with Beyonce. Honestly, a lot of people hate on B, but
there will be no hating on B on this show.
Oh, we got another BC. A lot of people say surprised me. I didn't know you was a Beyonce fan. Could have been talking about this.
Well,
single ladies anyway.
In reference to me, you know that she recorded her performance, so that's why it was the way it was.
Well, a lot of and I mean, some people lip sync and stuff like that too. But even in live, where it's obviously live, I've never seen, because even people who do that sometimes it's impromptu, or sometimes they do things that's at a point where they can't record it, and you'll catch if you search, YouTube for stars missing notes or stuff like that, it's videos everywhere of stuff like that. I've never seen Beyonce do it. So I say that to say every artist has an off day from time to time. Even people the people that got a lot of them, people like Mary J. Blige and John Legend. I've seen a lot of videos of them just not being on, but they're dope artists, and they, have proven themselves as, quality singers. So, I think she was just having an off day. Did you see it? What do you think?
So did you like her performance or not?
I mean, I didn't say I liked it, because being a person who's, worked with a lot of singers and stuff, sometimes you just have a bad day and it's a bad performance. So no, it wasn't her best. Definitely not her best. It wasn't quality. She, doing the national anthem is something that singers see as kind of I can do that. So you might not practice or do your sound check and stuff, and then it comes back to you, So I think that's what it was. But what did y'all think? I'm not gonna talk the whole time.
I didn't love it.
Right. That's all you got.
I love Shaka Khan.
Yeah,
Like she's
she sounds
Shaka
great.
Khan, but no, it was not good for me.
Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan, Shaka Khan.
And that's all I'll say
Anyway.
in reference to that, because she's
Okay.
Shaka Khan.
Nobody else asked me, Jay. I got nothing to say about it.
Well,
No,
you know.
I didn't see her performance. I just saw Jennifer Hudson's tribute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't see.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. I gotta check all that out on YouTube later. So, Jay, what you think though?
Well, you know, I'm a Shaka Khan fan, so
Okay.
I'm biased.
Okay.
So with that said, it's hard to, speak any wrong about Shaka Khan.
Right.
But that shit sucked. And
They show the parental advisory.
But at the same time, man, it's like I guess I was more upset, like trying to make it all like sized up. I was like, yo, fuck this anthem. And then you trying to make it all,
Do you think that we're like, that especially black people, they feel obligated to embellish a lot just because of like Whitney Houston and people who have done it and like.
Yeah, cause I mean, after Whitney and like Marvin Gaye, it's like. Well, I mean,
Marvin Gaye's the only person started the track.
Right, this nigga had the whole. But anyway, man.
Undefeated.
Yeah.
I guess the truth of the anthem wasn't highlighted in those times either.
Right.
And now at this point in time with black folks in this country, the truth of the anthem has been highlighted in our communities, which wasn't the case at first. So to have that truth about the anthem and its underlying meaning and its root in racism and destruction, and to still be trying to give this performance your all and put passion into it, yeah, it's kind of like karma.
So you think she got what she deserved?
Well, I mean, again, because I'm a fan of Shaka Khan, and it's not like a personal dig towards her, but it's just like I think she was just trying to do too much with the anthem. Yeah. It's like, leave that bullshit anthem alone. Or if you're gonna do it, I understand, it's visibility, it's probably a check involved. Just do the shit, get out. But it's like trying to make it ours. That shit ain't ours.
Yeah.
And it's like we already did that. Whitney made it hers. Marvin made it his. You know what I'm saying? Like before there was a visible understanding of the connotation of the song.
Right.
It's like, yeah, we made it ours. But now that we know what it is and what it's rooted in, like us trying to make that shit our own and bring it home and bring it to church and nah, what the fuck you get?
All right, Jay. So,
you asked me, nigga. I was quiet on the subject. You like, so what you think, Jay? Like, all right, nigga, here we go.
So, excuse me. February is Black History Month, so I want to highlight, make sure that we are we're in Nubian Human, such an Afrocentric environment. We got to highlight some prominent African Americans who have done great things, and some that I want to make sure that we talk about now, because a lot of shows do stuff maybe like Martin Luther King or some Jerry Truth and everybody who people know well. So I want to talk about something. Now this is the guy that people know well but might not know. I saw some stuff floating around social media about Hammer. MC Hammer.
Oh yeah.
The Hammer Man.
Go ahead,
and so
man.
I did some research because there was a story floating around that Chameleonaire supposedly told about, and it was misquoted saying that he owned a piece of Twitter, which is not actually the case. What he did do, and I do my research. So what is true was and was confirmed by Twitter founders is that when he found Twitter in 2011, he saw enormous potential in the platform, so much so that he requested a sit down with the creators. At which time he outlined his ideas such as artists launching careers, breaking music, and connecting with fans, which is all staples of social media at this point. Mm-hmm. Things that they got, ideas that they got from Hammer. You know what I'm saying? And he's also invested in a number of tech startups and things of that nature. Now, everybody knows about him being valued originally at $31 million and him, through bad investments and bad decisions, losing a lot of that. So today his value is somewhere around 1.5 billion. But the truth is, through his tech startups and all that, it's not really stated how much he's actually worth. But he's been noted in Silicon Valley, which is, where all the tech stuff comes from. And he's known as an investor and a visionary. Like he'll come into companies and tell them, okay, you can do this and this and this, and so he's doing really well for himself. Shout out to Hammer for his
way to come back, man. He was like the butt of jokes
and all
for
that.
years,
He's doing his
fucking
thing.
that money up. So I'm glad to see him come back around. Like that's Black history for real.
Definitely.
Salute to him.
Pretty good job on the stage.
Yeah, and she's still performing, does shows.
Go ahead, Hammer. Salute, brother. Pumps in the bump.
I think that story shows you that he really is too legit.
Oh boy. Almost.
You supposed to be on hold on now.
Almost.
I brought you in here and had my back. So I also want to highlight, we talk about people that are out there doing their thing, but I also want to highlight people that are a little closer. This guy's still out there doing his thing, but he's in this area and he's done a lot for a lot of people. And I want to shout out, and his birthday was yesterday, my boy Mo Better, aka Maurice McClanahan.
Oh, you do the
Santa Claus, yeah. So Mo Better, DC's hip-hop philanthropist, founder.
He's doing a lot of good work.
Yeah, he's the founder and operator of Santa Claus, which is the fundraising initiative to raise money for Safe Shores, which is a DC children's advocacy center that works with victims of sexual and physical abuse. Beyond that, Mo is giving back in so many ways, including paying people's bills, buying people essentials like clothes, food, and toiletries, and just that's why they call him the hip-hop philanthropist. He's done so much in the area. He's such a generous, giving dude, and he's a genuine dude. He started out as an artist. He's a dope freestyle artist. He's won a number he set up like battle leagues in the area and won a number of battles. He actually proposed to his wife at a battle, like in a verse. If you look that up on YouTube, it's a dope video. Check it out. Shout out to Mo Better, and we're gonna get him on here. I've interviewed him a couple of times. He's a really great guy, and shout out to him. And happy birthday yesterday, brother.
Happy birthday. He brings a lot of his work through Community Hope and works with Reverend Tony Lee a lot also.
Yeah, definitely. It's not too many people in the city that don't know him. Right. They don't know him, especially if they're involved in giving back and philanthropy. He wants to be a part of it. And I always say that the type of person that it takes to notice a need and not just be like, oh, that's terrible, people need that, and they go on with their lives, but actually to take action and make sure that their needs getting filled. It takes a certain type of person to do that. We need more people like that, and so shout out to him, and we definitely salute him 100%. And again, yesterday was his birthday. Happy birthday. I hope you're part of that, brother.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely. So while we on this spirit of giving back and all this, I want to talk about, I saw a story, and I meant to talk about it last week.
That's all the people you got?
Well, I just said to you, you got something?
I do.
Okay, well, yeah, go ahead. Well, you see how he did it? That's all you gonna do, nigga?
Well, so it's Black History Month, and I got small children, right?
Yeah.
So they give them the typical people to study and do reports on every year. Yeah. They're also working in here. A lot of people come in the store looking like for Black stuff. So in this Black History moment, I want to shout out Fannie Lou Hamer. Who was an activist in I think it's Mississippi, but she don't get a lot of notoriety like the Black women, that fought for justice and fought for rights. Everybody knows about Rosa Parks and Michelle Obama. These just the names I've been hearing at the kids' school, and I'm like, yo, Fannie Lou Hamer is like a gangster. What I'm saying? Like she wasn't swayed by society, and she just don't get no love, and she had to endure so much to get people to register to vote in the South. She was abused. She had a tough life, and I just want to make sure that her name remains relevant. And I don't know a lot of facts like they be doing research and stuff. Like I don't have.
I'm about to say because I've never heard that name before.
Oh my God!
Yeah, no, honestly,
So please, just for me, I would research, especially if you have children, especially if you have young Black girls. Yeah. I think everybody should study Fannie Lou Hamer. She was an integral part to the revolution of Black people in this society, and I feel that her name is getting lost. When we talk about strong Black women who have done tremendous things to help us and help our cause. So that's who I think we should, even if it's just a Google search or something about it, Fannie Lou Hamer.
Fannie Lou
And
Hamer. And so you say you don't know a lot of facts about it, but what did she do?
Well, she trying to get people to vote in the South. Okay. So she risked her life several times. She was beaten and abused, and just railroaded, and she sacrificed a lot of her time. She died early at like 60. I remember one time I think her daughter was dying, and they took her to a hospital, and they wouldn't treat her daughter at the hospital. And then they tried to transfer her from one hospital to the other, and she died. And just all of the abuse that she took, especially being a black woman standing up for voting rights and just for people to be treated human in Mississippi in the South in the 50s and 60s. Like she was like a superhero, like how people look up to motherfucker Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman. Like she like real, like what I'm saying, like real life could do like magic shit. And I don't want her name to be lost. She's so important. She's just as important as Dr. King or Malcolm X. And like you said, you ain't even heard of her.
Yeah, I never heard of her.
We sell a sweatshirt with her. It's an election year this year. I ain't with voting, but I'm with freedom. And and that was her lane too. So yeah, that's all I got.
The views and comments expressed by Jason are his and his
alone,
and not that.
That's I love that woman, man. She mean a lot to me. Like she got the characteristics like when people be talking about like, oh, that's gangster, or like they go hard. Like she is the embodiment of that. Like just a fearless warrior. Like what I'm saying. She just gifted. And again, I just don't want her name to not be known by my next door neighbor.
Right, you ain't had to say it like that. We live next door to each other. That's it. You talk about me. You never said her name. No, I'm just
well, actually, I have.
Man, let's do it. Let's make it.
Yeah, absolutely. Fannie Lou Hamer, y'all. Black History Month.
So, that was an awesome Black History moment. Thank you very much, Jason.
Yeah,
I appreciate you. Fist that moment for the day.
Shout out Sandra Bland too.
Yeah. And so now I gotta go from shout out Sandra Bland.
Hey, I mean, I don't want these black women to be lost because they will erase you out of history if they can.
Hey, bruh, like I said some stuff this morning, but we're gonna get into it. But I want to talk about the Southeast Blessings Box. Did you see a story about this? Yeah, so I saw a story floating around social media, and I wanted to talk about it last week, but we talked about so much I didn't get a chance to. So years ago in a roadhouse near the corner of 4th and East Street Southeast, Miss Velma Hammond, Velma Hammond opened up her home to residents of the neighborhood. She ran a hair salon, a candy shop out of her house. But what she was best known for was her generous spirit. For years, she would have tables set up with food and clothing items free for those who needed it. Miss Hammond passed away about 3 years ago, but her spirit lives on through her granddaughter, Wendy, who created the Blessings Box, a scale model replica of the house that sits out in her yard, and it's a pantry basically filled with food and toiletries and different items for people, and it's free. You can come in and put stuff in, or you can take things if you need it. And just to carry on that spirit is such an awesome thing. Like I said, it's near the corner of 4th and East Street Southeast. So I definitely want to go and put some stuff in there because that's kind of dope. And I just want to shout it out. That anybody would, like I said, taking the initiative to feel the need, and it's so powerful because it's a living example of us helping us, and something that's for us instead of, by people in the community, for people in the community, not, So I just thought it was dope. Wanted to highlight it. Shout out to Wendy Hammond for carrying on her grandmother's, legacy in that way.
Shout out to Wendy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, Easy Street, Easy Street from the radio, he, on his social media, on Twitter, he posted a post, Voice Fame posted.
Shout out Willie D.
Yeah, Willie D is
that's
like,
do
y'all follow him at all or know any stuff that he's like really
that's my man.
About the cause and the mission in these streets. So I want to play Willie D put up a post of himself watching and then responding to a show called Morning Joe. Now, Morning Joe is a MSNBC show featuring Joe Scarborough and a couple of other people. And this guy, Joe Scarborough, who hosts the show, went on a rant about Snoop Dogg's words towards Gayle King in the wake of her, interview. Mm-hmm. And I just thought, what Joe had to say was interesting. And then Willie D's response was very interesting. So I'm going to play a little bit of it and I'm going to get you guys' opinion on it. So let's get that up here. Let's see. Bear with me. I'm engineering at this moment. So, yeah, let me play this clip first. This is Joe Scarborough from Morning Joe talking about Snoop Dogg's remarks to Gayle King.
A black woman who is a journalist has her life threatened from a guy who has 39 million people.
The Post is still up.
The Post is still up. She faces threats and abuse. Her children are now facing threats and abuse.
24-hour security.
Gayle King now has to have 24-hour security. And I'll be damned. Have I read the New York Times editorialize about it? No. What's all your bullshit about protecting journalists when you have a black woman whose life was threatened? Nothing there. Wall Street Journal, nothing.
Wait,
what are you doing?
Viacom,
what are you
CBS?
Doing? Where's Viacom CBS? Has the USA Today done it? Where are you? A black female journalist's life has been threatened. She and her children fear for their lives. And you aren't writing about this?
Yeah, so he kind of went off, and he even, like, when he said bullshit, you see his co-host, like, but he's like, oh, all right, we're going to ride, So, but I thought that, first of all, he's, this journalist, he's going off about it, about, them not having media coverage. And it's been a couple of, stories about a so-called coordinated media silence on this for some reason. I don't know. But anyway, I thought Willie D's response was really funny. So I want you guys to see. Well, not funny, it was poignant, but just because Willie D is who he is, I just thought it was interesting what he had to say. So I'm going to play that for y'all.
Man, go sit your fake ass in the corner somewhere. I know you ain't trying to claim moral ground. First of all, this ain't got nothing to do with you. This is family business. Secondly, you don't care nothing about black women, because if you did, after 56 years of life, this wouldn't be your first time standing up for a black woman publicly. Trying to make it seem like it's some type of gender war going on, like it's black man against black woman. Now, partner, this is the black community standing together against the black enemy. You got a black woman who is a journalist, and she's being threatened. Her children are being threatened. They keep talking about these threats that Gayle has received, and we ain't seen no receipts yet. Which leads me to believe that these threats are not really viable. The dude is just all excited. Like, where was this concern for black women when Oprah was dragging Monique or Toni Braxton? Where was this concern for black women when the police is body slamming and shooting them, beating them up? Where was this concern for black women, Joe, when Sandra Bland was hung in her jail cell? Gayle does your bidding, and you're trying to protect her. It's as simple as that. We see through your bullshit. You ain't did nothing heroic. I know you probably beating your chest thinking you did something tough, but you ain't did nothing. It was not impressive at all. Just a bunch of jibber-jabber, talking loud, saying nothing. Man, I'm so glad that the people saw right through you. All that damn faking. Joe, I am an expert in the field of loving women. If you really want us to believe that you love women the same, and you really care about their welfare, you don't even have to start with black women. I got that covered. You can start by helping to solve the murder mystery of the white woman who was found dead in your office in 2001. No more
Sheesh.
talk.
Ooh, dropped a bomb on his ass at the end.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting.
Dang.
You know, and
Shout out Willie D.
Shout out Willie D. He went in and I mean, it's so true. It's like, you know, it's all this disgust and anger, but it's you pick and choose when to display it. You know, and I mean, you know, like he said, it's not what they're trying to make it out to be. Like I definitely don't think that it was anything about men versus women or anything like that. It was somebody who said something, like I said in last week's show when we talked about the actual remarks and the actual interview, and Snoop and LeBron and some other people who said things about it. These people knew Kobe personally, and so they felt personally attacked by someone who was saying something about somebody who they knew personally, and also, and you know, and not just knew personally, like met him, like had relationships with him. And somebody is, you know, disrespecting them after they die, you know, and I mean that's a touchy subject, so you can't just, you know, take that, not take that into consideration when understanding the comments. And then the fact that Snoop came out and was like, he went a little far. I don't think he should have apologized, but he apologized, you know. So I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I thought Willie D went ham. Jay, what you got? I know you.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he hit the nail on the head, man. It's just, I read through Dude Joe, whatever. Immediately, like I couldn't even really hear him. It was just like, yeah, it was just like a talking head.
Yeah.
Cause I'm like, why are you even talking? Like then for him, he kept saying black. This is a black, like nigga, shut up. Like why are you like? I don't even want to hear your voice,
right,
in regards to this. Like, it's
and that's why they had Al Sharpton on there. And I watch, you know, I'm the huge believer in not just watching the clip of it. So I went back and watched the full interview, and I'm like, Al's gonna stand up and say something.
Al
Sharpton was there at the interview. They had him there.
He's just as well.
I mean, I was just hoping that maybe he would.
Really?
My hopes
why are you hoping?
Were drastically misplaced.
That's important.
Well, because. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because in the past, Al Sharpton has been painted in a certain way, and that's rightfully so in a lot of cases. But I've seen him more recently try to be more, do more things that were standing. He did an interview more specifically on the show. I know D.L. Hughley was on the show. I can't remember exactly what it was. Was like one of the hosts. There's a bunch of black guys who were the hosts, and D.L. Hughley specifically was one person who was like, I don't mess with Al Sharpton. He's not like the type of dude that, you know, he was very vocal about.
Why you would have some belief in this dude?
Well, I mean, just
you
saying.
You know he doesn't do his research like you did.
Well, I mean, apparently not. Because I was waiting for him to say something, and what I waited for was that it never came. They was like, Al, how do you feel about it? And Al was like, this is ridiculous. That's why I have to stand up against black people, blah, blah, blah. And if I preach a friend too, then I
stop. You reminded me of him for real. I don't like it. I can't stand it.
But watching the full clip, he just went, you know, just talking about, and then they had some correspondent. They, like you said, you don't want to hear, and they know that you don't want to hear a white person talk about it. So they had Al Sharpton, and then they had this other black woman from DC. I forgot her name because it's unimportant. But she's like, this is ridiculous. It made me sad for black people and black women because nobody's standing up for them and blah blah blah. And it's like, wait a minute, because you know,
like Willie D said, this is a family issue.
Yeah,
mind your business.
Okay.
It's a family issue. And has Gail apologized to Vanessa and her kids yet?
I doubt
she
it.
won't.
Exactly.
She's not like a real person.
Exactly.
She's like
she's not a real person.
Is she the only person that does not owe anyone an apology?
That's
like, I don't think Snoop
yeah.
should have apologized either. Because, like you said, that I called in the Darlene McCoy show last week, and
you called into a show last week?
I called into everybody's show.
That's cool.
So she was, you know, taking your comments on how you felt about it. And I said the same thing as you. Like, first of all, Snoop is hurting. That was his friend.
Right.
And he reacted from a place of pain. I'm not mad at him about that.
Right.
And I didn't really hear the threats. Can somebody point to the
yeah, that's what
he was like, chill out before we come get you.
And he didn't say we was coming to knock
Well, I
on
mean,
your door.
but the thing is, because it's Snoop and he's a black man with power and
We assumed
money,
it was violent.
no, white America tried to put this sense of danger and urgency behind
But I
it.
saw some
But it
black
was just
women
emotion.
doing it.
Yeah,
I saw
it's
some
true.
black women doing it. But he didn't
I
say we
agree.
about to come knock on your door and you not safe out here in these streets. He didn't say none of that. He said we coming to get you. That could mean anything.
Well, I mean,
Well,
maybe
I mean-
coming to get you, but
Listen.
it's you know.
nigga is,
Snoop Dogg is really about to throw his life away for Gail.
Nah, he's not, and that's but that's the nuances that they're not privy to.
And the thing is, man, it's like the thing is like, cause I got a lot of bones to pick with Snoop. But
Pun intended.
but the reason why it's okay is because I can see that Snoop is human. He made an emotional rant after some lady disrespected the name of his fallen comrade.
Exactly.
And so he just went off. And so, but he's also was like, fuck, that's a elder black woman in my community, and the world can see this.
Right.
So I'm glad he did apologize.
Yeah.
Because he was like, he talked to his mama and blah, and Gail's wrong. But
Yeah.
I can see the humaneness in Snoop and be like, oh, I did this. These were my emotions. Like, oh, I might have fucked up. Let me go try to address it. But with Gail, it's like she's not human. It's just like she's a programmed bot, you know, that's hired by white media, which is why Joe is defending her, because they need her,
like you said,
to
she
get
does your bidding.
motherfuckers, you know, in jail, to put, you know, personas on people to what's it called when you not really found guilty in the court, but
the public opinion,
public
court of public
opinion. So
yeah,
it's
the
like
sway the court of public
right,
opinion.
so she's
yeah,
being
yeah.
used by white media for that position, and so it's like that's why you got white men all of a sudden after 2,000 years of existence, like, oh, we have to defend black women now.
Well,
like, really,
Gail
nigga?
King, not black
Now?
women, Gail King, 'cause, you know.
Specifically.
Yeah.
So-
Because he only knows two.
So shout out to Snoop, man. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
and
saying?
shout out to
'Cause
Willie D.
He's
too.
trying to do what's right and deal with those emotions, and so I could just see his humaneness. Like, I got a lot of issues with Snoop, but it's like, yo, I appreciate you fucking trying to do what's right, whether it's right or wrong. Like, I see your intention, I see your effort in trying to make things better, and I don't see that in Gail.
Definitely. Yeah, and also I think he, seeing how far, because it's in most situations it's somebody who's going to take it too far, so seeing the potential for what somebody could have took his words in that emotional moment to mean, oh, Snoop just gave the okay to go bust this lady's head. So sometimes you gotta, and so I see him backing it down as as a good thing. Like Jay was saying, I don't think like Gail King was wrong, so in that the apology seems kind of like, but she needed to be called to task at some point, and I mean, so I don't think that it's necessarily,
He definitely had a moment of weakness. Based off of his emotions. Like, just think about it. If it was you and I, and somebody, in the street made a comment to our loved one who had just passed away,
be ready to scrap.
we're going to say a lot of the same things, but it's not going to be broadcast to millions of people.
Exactly. So like you said, shout out to Snoop.
Yeah.
It just came out, yeah.
Yeah, whatever y'all was saying, yeah.
So but I just really thought that was interesting that Willie D, and if you get a chance to follow Willie D, like
Willie D's that dude, Ghetto Boys fame.
Wild, So
Fifth Ward,
like,
Houston,
man, sit
Texas.
your ass down. I just thought that was the way he came in there was hilarious. But so back on a lighter note, Loyola High School, an all-male Catholic school in Detroit, has announced that for the 9th consecutive year, 100% of their graduating seniors have been accepted to the college of their choice. This is quite an accomplishment for a graduating class. It usually makes local news and sometimes national news when high schools are able to do this in one given academic year. So to be able to have this achievement for 9 years in a row speaks volumes to the dedication of the faculty and the drive of these young men to succeed. So congratulations to that entire class, the 2019 graduating class of Loyola High School in Detroit. And when I heard this story, it kind of brought to mind, there was a high school in DC, and in this point, I actually didn't do the research. As I was reading it, I realized, I was like, oh, I didn't do all that. But anyway, basically, there was a high school in DC that that was an all-male high school, and the Civil Liberties Union and a couple of different organizations were protesting to try to get females accepted to this high school. And because there were some women who felt like it brought up discrimination suits against the school for not letting women into the all-male school. And so I wanted to ask you guys' opinion on it and to see, because it's starting to seem as if in an effort for inclusion, there's always a certain amount of overcorrection. You know, and so in this case, it might not be just, you know, citing this school who, like, for 9 years in a row, 100% of them have been accepted. And I can't speak to whether it was because it was an all-male school, but that formula historically has worked. And so trying to change that might be because, I mean, the 9 years, at least for 9 years historically, you know.
Oh, you mean for that particular school?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, trying to change that. So do you think that, like, in the effort for inclusion, like changing something like that, like an all-male school, forcing them to accept? Because they said the story that I read about it was last year, and so it was the 2018 school year, and so in 2019, because of the efforts of the Civil Liberties Union and the lawsuits, that they would be accepting their first females for the 2019 school year.
So they did this year?
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So, do you think they're making those changes? I mean, like, it's progress, but is it, you know, like, is it affecting, like, you know, a formula that, you know, is working to a certain extent? Or is it not enough data to make that decision?
Is there a reason they couldn't start an all-female school?
I mean, I always ask that question, too.
I went to an all-boys school.
Okay. And do you feel like that environment was more conducive to learning, or did it affect it at all, or was it any difference from?
I sucked at that school.
Do you think it was because there was no girls there?
Nah, just, you know, my philosophy is a little, you know, different than most. Like, I don't, you know, again, as I expressed on the show before, I don't really make the distinction between male and female in general things such as like education and things like, because I think we can all learn and grow together, you know. But
men are smarter though, right? No, I'm just playing.
Well, I mean,
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
I'm not fucking with that, Dave. Do that to me.
It was just a joke. I'm not with it either.
But I mean, I guess there are certain things that gender matter. But I haven't done any research, so I'm not a scientist. I don't have any case studies.
You're not a scientist?
Like no. Well, I mean, I am a scientist, so I don't have any case studies in regards to development, educational development, specifically based on gender. So I don't know what the need or what caused folks to be like, nah, we got to have girls in the school. I don't know why. Because, like, when I was at a boys' school, there were several all-girls schools.
Right.
Like, you know, so it wasn't like, oh, women can't get educated. It's like, you know, why do you want to go? I don't understand it, only because I don't think that there will be a educational hindrance.
Right.
With either way, if it's co-ed, if it's all males, if it's all female, like if you did and learn a specific, you know, curriculum, I think you're gonna learn it or not, regardless of who is there. So I don't know. It's a weird case to understand, because I don't know the motive of why that they wanted girls in that school. Is it because, like, oh, we want girls to graduate 100%? Like, I just don't know the motive, so I can't really give any.
That's where I am. I need to do my research.
Yeah, you gotta get your Dave on.
Yeah, so.
Because I just want to know, why do they have to go to that school?
Right, yeah.
Why can't they take the formula and create something for girls since it's working.
Or all schools.
Why do they have to infiltrate?
All the regular
Definitely.
schools that exist,
Definitely.
like whatever formula you got, let's put it in
Definitely.
the.
But why do they
I don't know.
go through so much
You
and
need to do
spend
more
so much
research,
money on getting the girls in that school? Why not?
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll find out for you though.
Like,
Join us on our next show.
It's
Yeah, I
kinda
know.
like-
No.
On
kinda
Dave's
can't
research.
Can't they have what they
I think so.
you know?
So it's been well documented that Jason doesn't participate in holidays, but since I have two people here who probably who more than likely do, I want to talk a little bit about.
I don't know y'all like how you just
well,
gonna push it on y'all.
yeah,
Y'all don't even
because
know.
but watch this
First of
though.
all, I need to hear where you're going first.
It's Rosh Hashanah. It's not. I'm just playing, but but yeah, Valentine's Day just passed, right? And so I was trying to talk about it last week, but I couldn't really because nobody really celebrated Valentine's Day. Did you guys have a good Valentine's? Did you have a good Valentine's Day, you and your wife?
I did. So for me, it's not really just Valentine's Day because I spoil my wife all year. We do that type of stuff all year. But it's just the thing of just like we're hanging out, you know, especially with my new schedule. So we did a little day thing where we went to the movies, got something to eat, and then we came home and just chilled out. But it's not necessarily about Valentine's Day. It's just about, for us, just spending that quality time together and just, you know, growing together. So we just hang out. You know, we homies.
But see, you're married though, so you say it's not about Valentine's Day. But if you hadn't have done nothing,
If I hadn't have done anything, she would have been just fine.
she just shot you in the face. You lying. You making her look good, and I appreciate it. But no, I'm just playing. I don't. You know, I'm just playing. I don't. And shout out to her because she let me know that the sound wasn't popping. So yeah, 'cause, I had to adjust the music.
Sounds
Shout
like
out
a
to-
wife.
Yeah,
I
right.
know your
right.
sound ain't
I
on.
can't even hear you. Tell that nigga
All right.
to get it. No, I'm just playing.
Turn it up a decibel, please. Damn. All right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
But,
I can't hear y'all.
Right. But Boss Lady, did you do anything for Valentine?
I did. But
I ain't gonna put you on the spot. I don't want to
just like
you know.
you.
Something happened. She's like, I did.
People were asking me what we were doing, and I was like, listen, if he don't plan it, nothing, because I just would like to stay in the house and stay in the bed. It's going to be cold outside. Like, I'm tired.
You say that, but I still feel like if he
That's
hadn't
what
done
we
nothing.
We ended up at one of our local watering holes in the back room, just kicking it.
In the back room.
Oh,
No, not like that. Okay. No, but that's
kicking
cool though.
it.
But it was something. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Like, we were just hanging out.
That's great. Yeah. So I just wanted to see if regular people do stuff for.
But, we did have cards that said Happy Valentine's Day. But, like,
Okay.
we do stuff all the time.
Flowers, candy, any stuff like that.
Yeah. Maybe not the chocolate covered strawberries all the time because I'm not about to make them myself. But
Okay, I understood.
It's a chore, I feel.
Do you know Patrice is in the hall commenting on all this shit?
I was wondering
She
why
is?
she wasn't coming in.
Oh,
Like, it
She
ain't
sat
enough
right
chance. She
there.
says she cool, but
It's
fucking
Tell her
hilarious.
get in here, man.
no, it's the funny shit is that she's commenting like
I didn't know she was
crazy.
here. Come in
she
here.
been here the whole time.
People want to
can
see
her,
you.
and she's on her phone like,
What is this nigga? Well, read what she's saying.
If she wasn't popping up on my line, it wouldn't be as funny. So it's
Patrice, come in here. What are you
let her
doing?
Stay out
she's
there.
laughing.
It's funny.
You can see her
Okay.
laughing.
All right. I wanted to come in here. Join us. We'll make room for you.
She's
That's what.
typing
She like the
Comment right
correspondent.
now.
She's like
Okay.
the correspondent. You know, how like the NBA analysis be side on the
She's
sideline.
on the street.
And they got a nigga in the huddle. Like she in the huddle right now.
All right. Hey, I wanted to hear her comments. I see her in the corner now. I didn't see her at first. I was looking for her. Shout out to.
She didn't
Miss
come in
Fru
hot
Fit.
today.
Here she
coming
come.
in now.
Here she come. We got.
The door's locked. She ain't coming.
Oh, let her in. Yo, open the door, Jay. Come on, man. Squeeze her in here. Come on. Yeah. Trying to be all hi. Come on, she about to come in and cuss everybody out. No, I'm just playing. Miss Fru Fit herself, personal trainer and fitness guru. Miss Fru Fit. We're gonna.
You didn't say anything about your Valentine's Day, Dave.
Well, I was working on Valentine's Day.
Of course you were.
Yeah, no, I was.
You're always working.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm glad that you know and understand that that's work is my life. I have 2 jobs, and then I run a show called what we're doing right now, and so that was my Valentine's Day. But yeah, I did do the basic purchasing cards and flowers and things of that nature.
Are you going to talk about the movie at all today?
The what?
The movie, the photograph.
Oh, that's a great idea. I haven't seen it yet, but I would love to. Have you seen it?
I did.
Okay.
I saw that on Saturday.
Why does he sound like he's talking to a kid? What are you doing with that? No. She is a grown woman.
Some kid
Jay.
like shit. Like,
a
yo,
black
what you doing over
woman
there?
was this. No.
She's about to do some kid shit. But the photograph, go ahead.
Photograph,
I'm sorry, Boss
did
Lady.
you like
I
it?
don't want to spoil it. It was great.
It was great. Yeah,
The
talk a
only
little bit
thing
about it
didn't
while I
like
get a
was
microphone for
I could have
Patrice.
used. I'm sorry. I thought I was close. I could have used about 30 more minutes of the movie. Like when it went off, it just went off, and you was like, "Wait, that's it." But I thought it was a great movie. Chocolate people on the big screen, nobody dying violently, and it was just a good storyline for me. But I'm not gonna spoil it for y'all because it's only been out for a few days. So I'll come back next time and we'll talk about it in detail.
Okay, cool. That wasn't enough. Keep talking.
I can't give it away.
You saw it?
No, I didn't see it. My wife does want to see it, so I guess we'll
Okay.
It's
check
only
it out.
an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
it.
I
Okay.
saw it.
Oh, what'd you think, Jay? You gonna be all kinds of cute.
It was alright.
You wanted to go see it?
Nah, I got
I'm in
invited. No. I got invited. I went to a special screening before it came out with Bowie State University. Shout out to Bowie State for inviting your boy. So we saw the screening of it before it was released. I mean,
I'm about to say, should we just try
I got it. It's right here.
Oh, okay.
Is that long?
Patrice alone.
We don't want this tray.
Go ahead.
It's not that long.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right.
I'm good.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, the photograph, it was alright. It was,
So what was supposed to happen?
So was it missing something to you, or?
Well, I mean, it was a good story. Like it was good. It was done well. But it's I'm a filmmaker, so I pick apart films. But it was done well. The acting was done real well. The cinematography was, it was boring.
See, there it is. There it is. There's the Jay son.
No. But I mean, I'm not saying that negatively. But sometimes boring.
He say it's boring, but I'm not saying that negative.
It's not. Like I preferred it that way. I didn't want all of this crazy, trauma coming through and all this mad loops and shit to happen. It's like, oh, okay, it's a fucking love story. This dude likes this girl. They got issues. They talk about shit. They fall and So I'm like, it's a fucking love story. It's nice, plain and simple. It's black people. I liked it. I'm just saying.
That's good.
It was regular as fuck though.
So do you think it's
It was a little refreshing.
Yeah,
that's what I was
agree.
gonna ask.
agree.
Like,
I agree.
because they say it's not a lot of. Because you can count on one finger the amount of like real. True black love stories like Love Jones or
so
what else is there? Love Jones and Love Jones
no drama in
and
this
Love
movie,
Jones.
And the dramatic
Did
you see? Love and Basketball. The black people stuff.
Hey, man,
Love and hip hop.
It's a whole bunch of shit, man. If you go back to
Brown Sugar.
Mahogany, Lady Sings the Blues.
Oh God,
So, yeah.
drama.
Yeah.
I mean, it's black love.
It was good,
Hey,
though.
let's keep it 1 billion.
You'll watch it.
1 billion.
He said
One-
1 billion.
I mean, all of us have been in relationships, right? We're all black, and there's been fucking trauma.
Yeah. So you're saying it's
We
true?
come in with
Depicting the
trauma.
truth.
So all I'm saying is it's not this far-fetched Hollywood idea that, strengthening black love and fortifying black relationships is going to be super great in the midst of fucking racism and murder and oppression, and we just going to have these beautiful ass relationships and not deal with all of this trauma that this society is causing us every second, and so all of a sudden our relationships are just going to be all joyous and blissful. So
But I do think the movies help that though, because art imitates life and life in turn imitates art, and so giving positive depictions of black love, of what it could and can be, I think is helpful for the community, because we don't see it enough, and so the images that we do see are so skewed and such a caricature of what black life and black culture and black love actually is, that the younger generations now think that that's what love is. That love is, hooking up and cheating.
Well, I
and
don't know if
getting back
that's
to,
due to the images on TV. Well, definitely
Yeah.
the radio. Yeah, I agree.
Well, I mean, but TV because it's
yeah.
manufactured.
But
you know
when
what
they
I'm
go outside, they see the wildest shit ever. When they go outside in their own community without turning on the TV, without turning on the radio.
And it's a lack of balance, though, because
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree.
growing up, we saw some of that wild shit, but we had the balance of seeing also the Huxtables and seeing, different depictions of actual quality relationships. And it's... Well, but you can't. But see, and that's another thing, separating the character from. I think Cliff Huxtable did. Worked wonders for the black community as a whole. Bill Cosby did too. It's just he also, was raping women, which is
I'm gonna interject.
Actually, he didn't rape nobody. Yeah.
But so I'm gonna take you away
That's
from
true.
Bill. But just to add, it's so funny that we are so. It's like trauma in relationships has become normalized because it's what, to your point, it's what we see all the time on television. I haven't watched TV in 10 years, but just from the shows that you hear of and the movie trailers and stuff, we're used to trauma being depicted in relationships via TV and the music, which pretty much tell us how to traumatize one another, and we're being programmed. So I've heard a few people saw the movie and then say, it's boring. This is, it's nothing really. It's just like a boring love story. But love stories are not boring. That's how they're supposed to be. And that's, of course, they're what we make them. But minus the trauma, it shouldn't be boring. It's how it's, if it flows, let it flow without the trauma. I think we all bring trauma to the stage in a relationship, and we are supposed to. And this is my opinion, we're supposed to help each other through the trauma. The woman is supposed to help the man through the trauma. The man is supposed to help the woman through the trauma, and that's how you grow within your relationship or also within a community, but that's not depicted on the big screen.
As much. That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
But that's why I say I like the movie. That's why I wasn't being negative when I said it was boring. It
Well,
was a good boring. Like,
boring.
thank God it's fucking boring. Like, thank you.
Well, I mean, but boring has a negative connotation. So you could just say it wasn't action packed. It wasn't like shooting scenes and killing and murdering.
Everybody's just coming off of Queen and Slim.
I still ain't even seen Queen and Slim.
Except your wild ass. So, but what I'm saying is, it was refreshing to be like,
everybody else here seen Queen and Slim. Y'all seen it?
I plead the fifth.
I did. I saw it.
Well,
that's why you here. You redeemed yourself. You
like,
back, Boss Lady. You back.
So that's why I say it was a refreshing boring. Like, they just falling in love. It's no like nigga gonna come out with a gun and shit. It's like, like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I can appreciate this.
I'm gonna tell you what
When
Queen.
I did my review, I said no violence. Like
Yeah,
chuck the people on the screen with no violence.
Yeah, so I appreciate it.
Yeah. And what were you gonna say, Patrice?
No,
without
just-
spoiling the movie. Go ahead.
Well, I actually haven't seen it yet.
Okay,
I do
good.
plan to see it. But I was gonna reference Queen and Slim. The thing that I didn't like about that love story is that I feel like the man was depicted as a weak black man, and the woman was running the show, and I didn't like that. I want to see more movies where our brothers are depicted as the kings that they are.
It's a tall order. It's a tall order in Hollywood, man.
Yeah.
They trying to destroy us.
Yeah. So,
You could be strong, nigga, but put this dress on real quick.
Oh my God.
And that's true. That's true.
But so, Patrice, I want to talk because you said something interesting. You say you haven't watched TV in 10 years. And I hear people say that they don't watch TV a lot. But I'm like, so what do you read? What do you do?
I do. I read.
Work out.
They work out all the time. I know you're working out all the time.
I read, I work out, and I vibe with the people around me. I don't watch anything on TV, nothing mainstream ever. I haven't had cable in years. My son is 14. People say they have it for their kids. No, he ain't got it either. So I think,
But no Judge Judy? No nothing? No.
I don't watch any.
Judge
You
Judy.
and Judge
Hey,
Judy?
look,
You just like her butt.
Wait a minute. Jay was the one who said she was.
Jay said, both of y'all said.
Jay said
that was Eddie B.
Eddie B said it, but Jay
stamped it like,
but I know, I
didn't put it on.
It's an interesting show. But anyway, that's interesting that because television is such an integral part of society in 2020. So it's whenever I meet somebody who'd be like, I don't watch TV at all.
I didn't start watching TV till last year. For like 20 years.
Yeah.
But you watched TV.
I watched sports. I used to
But
watch basketball
it was on
no, but
TV, nigga.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, I haven't watched. I missed all of the programming that people talked about like for years, and I just started watching TV early last year, after literally about 20 years.
What did you watch?
Yeah.
What was your first show back?
It was Game of Thrones.
Okay. Oh yeah, you talked about because
I had this scenario.
Soul put you.
Yeah, but I got this dude. He's like a shaman, or he was like, "Yo, it's the scene in this series on TV." I was like, "Nigga, you know I don't watch TV." He was like, "Yo, if you want to get to the root of what you came to me asking me about, there's a perfect analogy in this show." But
and
the nigga, he didn't even know what season, so I had to watch all of the shit. But then I was hooked. I was like, "Oh, this shit is like that, nigga." And now I'm back. I watch television.
So I have never seen Power. I've never seen.
No, I'm just saying, I don't watch it.
It was a series with Kerry Washington. I never saw
Scandal. I watched the first 2 seasons of Scandal, but it went downhill. She started crying a lot.
Man, you can't focus
it just got bad.
Yeah,
she stopped even doing like what she's supposed to have been like a fixer. She stopped fixing stuff, and then it was just
That's what they
so
do.
anyway, but then you watch like The Wire and all that stuff because I ain't watch.
Here we go with The Wire.
But I still ain't watched it yet, but I did. So you remember? I think the last time you were on here. Hold on, but look, the last time you were on here, we talked about it. So we talked about a couple of shows that I was supposed to, because I had never seen The Wire, The Sopranos, Dexter, and it was something else. But I started watching this, so I started with The Sopranos. So I'm in like the 4th season. It's a pretty good show. I'm enjoying it. Italians are racist as hell, but Sopranos is alright. It's not a bad show. Like the writing is good. Like as somebody who's involved in the filmmaking process, like I respect the depictions of growth and certain things that they did with the storytelling. But yeah, it's a pretty good show. So I'm gonna finish it out, and then I'm gonna go to The Wire, and then I'm gonna watch the thing. So I'm gonna check this stuff out just to see if all the hype is what it's supposed to be.
I'm gonna send you my Alias Twitter page and all of my tweets about The Wire.
Alias?
Okay, you got a top secret Alias Twitter page.
Kevin Durant out this.
She's such a fan of the show, right? That she had to make an Alias account.
I haven't tweeted anything since The Wire came on like 3 years ago in HD. I haven't tweeted anything from that page since then. So
I'm on one of them episodes, Dave. See if you can find me. It's tough.
For real?
Yeah, I mean, I'm way in the cut.
You was
an extra.
That background
way in the cut.
You was an extra.
All right, I'm gonna look for you for real.
Good luck, nigga.
Hey, I told you about my what was it? House of Cards situation.
Yeah, I didn't believe you.
Right, yeah, because nobody could look. So I was so excited. I just came off the Pizza Hut commercial, and so I got the call. They like, okay, you're gonna be an extra in the House of Cards. I'm like, bet. So I go up to Baltimore. I'm up there for 3 days filming these scenes, and I know the camera see me at one point, so I got all my friends together. Everybody's in the house. My mom is there. We watching TV. I'm like, okay, here it come. And it's like a scene right before the credits start at the beginning. It's one of the little in the beginning before the show starts, they give you a little piece of it first, and then the credits come on. So just as they pan out to the street, I step out into the street, right? But as soon as I step out, you see my leg, and then it cuts to the credits. And I'm like, and then people ain't even believe me. I'm like, well, that was me. That was my leg. Even my mom was like, that wasn't you, nigga. What are you talking about?
I know your leg. I made your leg, nigga. That ain't your leg.
So yeah, that was my.
I had to pause. the DVD to find me.
Oh, there I am.
In real speed, you can't see me. You right? Stop that motherfucker. Like, there I am.
Yeah, playing in slow motion.
One of my classmates was on The Wire. He was one of the drug dealers, but he didn't have a whole bunch of.
Shout out to The Wire, man.
Yeah, for employing a lot of black people.
All American now.
Yeah. I didn't want to watch The Wire because I had friends in Baltimore, and so I was up there, and so I seen The Wire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I seen stuff
shout out to Baltimore, the real live Baltimore.
That's what J.O. said. He said he lived it.
Right.
Yeah, because Baltimore is real, man.
But yeah, it's still a beautiful place, and I'm glad they're coming.
Troy said you sound like you only watch Jeopardy.
I watch
Judge Judy is
Judge
it.
Judy, but no, Jeopardy is a good show too. You ever watch Jeopardy? They ask some interesting questions. Shout out to Alex Trebek. Anyway, I don't watch Jeopardy. Everybody, when I said, do y'all watch? Everybody was like, they had the nigga no face.
That's right. You like an old ass nigga, Dave. That's the senior citizen.
Hey, look, I'm turning 40 this year. Is that old?
Looking at Young and the Restless.
But you got like a 60-year-old.
Nah, I don't. She said, I watch Young and the Restless too. Nah,
right.
Like, you got the old
Yeah, you know Victor been playing that character for like 30 years.
Look,
like, yo,
my mother be watching. I came in one day and he was on there.
That nigga Victor still
like,
here, nigga?
You know, that's one of them people that's like, he still alive?
He deserves some type of award. I don't know.
For just being there for perfect attendance, right?
I've watched this nigga my whole life by default.
Right.
I know the nigga name.
Victor, right.
In every household I've been through my childhood, I've seen this nigga on the TV.
Oh, yeah.
So we should do a special Neighborish
about
Hall of Fame
Victor
for this nigga Victor. Whoever the fuck this nigga.
We are not doing the show about this white dude. I promise you. Not in Nubian Human.
That's true. Thanks for reeling me in.
Right.
All right, that's my bad.
If we do that, we got to go downtown somewhere and shoot in the studio. But yeah. So I definitely want to talk to our guest.
Hey,
Ashley, because she's like I said, a very funny person. You're going to see her a lot coming up here in the future. Her comedy career is exploding all over Andrews Air Force Base.
Okay. And he's speaking it into existence.
Right, yeah, that's what we do. But yeah, like I said, she did something that it takes a lot of courage to do, and Patrice actually speaks to it whenever I talk about it, because you also did it. Left the 9 to 5 to focus full time on your career goals, and so it's that's something that. At what point did you realize that was what you wanted to do? Like what prompted you to make that move to be like, look, I'm gonna dedicate more time to, perfecting this craft?
I really looked around and saw that like I've wasted some time. Because there's a lot of things that I want to do, and then I was like, man, I don't have the time to do it. And then I talked to my wife, and she was just super supportive and was like, well, whatever you want to do, let's just do it, because, you shouldn't have any regrets in life.
That's dope. To have somebody that, supports you. Because I told the story on here a couple of months ago about an artist that I work with whose girlfriend was like, all right, nigga, that's it. It's time for you to reel it in and shut it down. And you gave it a good try. No, you gave it a good try. But look here. We got, to have somebody.
How long has your attempt been thus far? Like, how long has it been since you left your job? Like, yo, I'm doing this. This is my lane.
I am on week 2 today.
So let's hear from your wife in year 2.
and like I said, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But I've also, because my wife is also 40 and I'm 31.
Okay.
So when we got together, I was 24. Mm-hmm. So I've also been through a lot of different changes, careers, and I want to do this, and then they don't work. So she's been along.
So she used to it.
Yeah, she used to the ride.
Yeah.
Go on, baby. Do what you got to do.
Right.
I've always been consistent because I've been in IT since I joined the Army. So that's always what's been keeping things flowing. But I've just been trying to find my niche because I'm good at a lot of different things. But I've just been trying to hone in on what's really what am I here for?
Yeah.
So comedy is kind of like where I'm feeling like that's really where my passion is. I like to make people laugh. I like to do those types of things. So I'm gonna put my foot out there and give it a shot. See what takes place.
Does your wife feel the way that you feel? Like, oh, this is her passion. I think this is. Like, I know she did 50 things in the past, but I think this is her thing.
Yeah. She definitely is in full support of it. Like, she wants to hear the jokes because I'm writing stuff. I'm like, no, I don't want to tell you it yet. I want to practice it first, and then I'll tell it to you. But she's super all in with all of it. Shout out to you. She watching right now. Appreciate you.
Hey, wifey.
So everybody, so all the comedians that we have on here, we have to ask them your Mount Rushmore of comedy, like the top 4 people that you look up to as comedians. Who was on your Mount Rushmore when you think about comedians?
Top Cedric the Entertainer.
Okay.
Monique. Bernie Mac.
They could be 3
and Martin.
Oh, okay, I'm Martin. Cool. Yeah. All right, that's a good list. Jay, who'd you say yours was?
Richard Pryor, Dave Chappelle, George Carlin, and Patrice O'Neal.
Okay. Boss Ladey.
I saw Patrice O'Neal recently. Listen. I won't be seeing him anytime soon.
Well, you know he's
he passed away.
No, I'm just saying. It was what I'm saying.
I was like, you saw it recently?
Where did you see this nigga?
No, we were watching it.
The apocalypse is near.
We were watching old video.
Okay.
So
yeah, he's harsh. He's a harsh.
Yeah.
You gotta have tough skin.
Yeah. He's one of those.
That's why I love him.
Yeah.
I was like, why are we watching this?
So you're not a fan.
I'm not saying I'm not a fan, but yeah, I won't be watching.
He's not on your Mount Rushmore of comedy. So who's your Mount Rushmore? Like, who are your favorite comedians? You don't like comedians?
I do, but I don't have no Mount Rushmore.
Oh, okay. Well, all right then. Fine.
Sorry.
Patrice, you like? Do you watch? I know you don't really watch
Paul
TV.
Mooney, Richard Pryor,
Oh.
and Martin. I went to go see him one time and literally like was crying out of my seat. And Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
You got a heavy DC list there.
Yeah.
Well, you know, people that live in DC don't go nowhere, so I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
It's funny. DC got a lot of legendary comedians like Dave,
yeah.
Martin,
Yeah.
Tommy Davidson, Earthquake, Dominique.
Yeah.
Cats that's like,
It's like
Right,
a
it's
lot
heavy.
But you know, Joe Clay and Eddie B had that show about comedians, and they was like, if you in the DMV growing up, you just have a lot of material.
Yeah.
Because we're in a highly political environment, and so there's always like news about presidents and scandals, and it's a heavy. At one point this was like Chocolate City, so it was a lot of black culture. So he was like, to their point, as far as comedians are concerned, they were like, well, if you grow up in this community with like a sense of humor, and you focus on all of the topics that you're exposed to growing up, you can have excellent material for a comedian.
Yeah.
Which proves to be true.
Yeah.
We got some of the best comedians on the planet.
And I think like that duality, like the juxtaposition of I want to use a big word, but anyway, of it being like the capital and like the center of the political world, but also like where most of the people who you mentioned grew up, and like where we grew up and stuff, it's the hood, like it's real stuff going on, and so
I got a good question,
Dave. Even know. What's up?
Like, is that stuff like in your material? Like where do you get like your thoughts? Like, yo, I'm funny, but I want to make people laugh about X,
blah,
Y,
blah,
Z. Like, where does your stuff? Is it like? Because I know Kevin Hart is like his family.
Right.
So like, where do you get your stuff?
Kind of just like everywhere. Like I keep a little pad, and like I see something like, oh, that's
You
funny.
old school.
Yeah.
You got a pad and shit. You don't use the note thing.
Right, the phone.
Nah, I like writing it down. Just like I'm getting into ebooks, but I really like having the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yes,
That's different, though.
say that
That's
again, sis.
Well,
Yes.
but it's also the same though. I
real
see how that
books.
that works. And
like that.
Seinfeld, I think, spoke to the importance of the things that put you in that mind frame. Like he was talking about your workspace too. Like he was telling the aspiring comedian to set up to actually when you get to a position where you have the money to do it, to get an office, because it's a separate place. It's away from the house. It's like if you have like a spot in the house, like you're working in your room or on the dining room table or something, it's not a place set aside for that. So your brain doesn't focus in as much as you actually going to a place that's set aside for this work, and it puts your brain in a place to do it more. And so if something symbolizes that, like actually writing it down as opposed to because you do everything in the phone, so it doesn't seem as real, right? Like, so having like a book, that's a great motivation to have those things that put you in the mind frame if I'm doing it, because I mean that's what it is to do it. So how early in your life did you realize you had the ability to make people laugh?
It started in school. It was like middle school, because I used to be really shy. And then one day I was just like, man, forget it. I ain't got no friends. I got to start talking to people. So and that was just kind of like how it started. Just like in Florida we call it ranking. I think up here it's like Jonin or something like that.
Definitely.
Everybody has a different name for it.
So we be ranking on people in the school, and that's kind of just like where it started. Like I just kind of was
Florida?
really quick with it. Yeah, Jacksonville.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to yeah.
All the craziest people are from Florida.
I'm not
Hey,
gonna,
look,
I'm
Florida
not
man.
gonna disagree with you. I'm not gonna.
You can't, because you there, you know.
Yeah,
Like,
you know.
that nigga's on to something there.
Right.
But, shout out to Duval County. That's where I started.
Hey.
Yeah. So, but look, you saw Atlanta, where he was talking
Oh,
about
yeah,
Florida man.
But that's an ongoing thing. Like the craziest headlines start off that way. Florida man. Then it's like
Ran into
whatever.
a building.
Right.
with
So it's like it
machete.
became like its own. It has its own legs, like Florida man. Like
Yeah, so they
you
made
just
it
know
into.
whatever comes after that is some ridiculousness.
It started as.
people-
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No.
Because people they think it's just this Disney World and retirement.
Yeah, that's the
thing
thing,
going
yeah.
on, but
It's
it's
definitely
not.
psychosis down there.
That's one area that's literally just Orlando.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that is it.
But, that's how it is
just
here too.
Orlando.
The world knows about what's portrayed
I know
on
they
TV
see the
and
White
stuff.
House and the monument. Then you come across that bridge, nigga.
Yeah, that's what Trick Daddy said. You don't know my Florida.
Right, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Did you ever run into Trick Daddy at any? No, I'm just-
That's Miami,
I would
Dave.
have liked to.
I
I would have liked
know.
to.
But so you're preparing to venture out there and do your first gig. Have you set a time or date or anything like that, or did you
I
find
actually
an
have,
open
'cause
mic? To?
I do set goals for myself.
Yeah,
Try to,
that's how
try
you
to
do
reach
it.
'em. So I gave myself a month to really write, take my time, come up with a set, and do my first open mic. I forgot, is it Kenneth, the guy that works with us?
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
gave me a few Facebook pages to follow comedians because they're always posting them. So
Yeah.
when it becomes that time, I'm gonna start looking, and then I'm gonna go ahead and give it a shot.
Dave, are
See
you
what
going
happens.
to?
Huh?
Because it's been 3 years.
Huh?
Dave coming with me, y'all.
Huh?
Dave coming with
It's been
me.
3 years since
Huh?
you promised us.
Huh?
Dave promised y'all something?
Dave
Huh?
promised.
What'd he
I
promise?
didn't wait. You
to
putting
do
the
an
word
open mic.
promise on there.
Gonna keep
I ain't
it
never
And
say
he
the
hasn't
word
done it yet.
promise. Promise ain't never come out of my mouth.
You
All
said,
right,
"I'm
y'all.
gonna
Since
do
we
it."
on live, Dave will be having an upcoming comedy show.
I'm gonna do
I will
I'm
post
gonna
the
do a
date
set.
and time
I'm gonna do a set. I am.
along with Ashley.
I got my.
I can host the joint. Y'all want me to do an event for y'all so y'all can get you?
Nah, you all right. You ain't got to do it.
Because you know it'll be
Sound like
official
you-
there. You
Don't
know,
go
like-
through all the
Dave's gonna back
trouble.
out.
But
Dave's
that sounds
not
like a
gonna
deal
do
to
it.
me.
No, I'm not
Okay.
going
Put
back
your hand
out.
to do it.
But
That sounds like a deal to
but
me.
no, I was gonna say, that Jay is another person that you could be tuned into, like for when you're ready to jump out there, because I know you got a lot, and Eddie B, we can, I know he does like the. But does he have an open mic though? I know Ralph does though. We have
Nah,
Ralph.
but,
Shout out to
I
Ralph.
got an open mic. Because Eddie came and did, 5 minutes at my joint?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sitting here with the open mic. and
Well,
you
no,
know-
because I didn't know that he had comedy at the open mic. Because I
my
haven't
open
been here
mic
yet.
is just a general open mic.
Yeah, it's right here in
Musicians.
this place, right?
Yeah, but definitely Eddie B came and did a set.
That's a bet. Well, I'll
Had
come
everybody rolling.
When's the next one?
The 28th. February 28th.
That's close. When's the one after that?
Nah, that's
when's
it.
when's the next one
That's
after
enough.
that?
That's what.
You said the 28th. When's the
about
next one after
2
that?
weeks. You got 2 weeks.
No. When's the next one
Come
after
see
that?
Dave.
Jay,
See, I told
slow
you.
down.
February 28th.
Pump your
We're
brakes.
gonna see Dave.
Come see Dave
Nah, I'll do it. Yeah,
at
yeah,
Nubian Human.
I'm in.
February 28th.
I'm in 100%.
At the
Let's
Native
do this.
Tongue
Hey, look.
Open Mic.
Let's do this.
It's recorded. I'm saying I'm in 100%.
All right.
I'm gonna do 30 seconds
Nah, you get 5 minutes. Give you 5 minutes.
of comedy. How you looking?
Because as you know, 30 seconds is like 10 minutes.
I know.
on a comedy
And that's
set.
why I went down every
And
time.
she'll
So I'ma
learn,
do-
you'll learn.
So I'm gonna do 6.5 seconds, and I'm gonna do. I'll do it. You gonna come through the 28th here?
Right here.
All right. So you gonna have some stuff ready?
No, I'm
Me and you
watch.
gonna do it. No, wait a minute now.
spectator.
Wait a minute now. You gave yourself a month,
great
2 months
supporter.
ago.
Yeah, that's enough time. It's still
Come on,
what,
ask
2
me,
weeks?
what you gonna do? Come on now. If I go, you go. Let's go. Let's do it.
5 moves.
Let's make the
Dave, it's
commitment
been
right
3
here.
years
That's
for
peer
you.
pressure.
But don't tell her all. She don't know that.
It's been 3 years for you, Dave.
That's
I know
the-
you've been
We know
writing
now.
jokes for a while.
Yeah, I
so
got my set.
Yeah,
You know,
got
I'm
your stuff. I got it.
Okay, all right, I'll give
So
you some
your
time.
set gonna be fire because you.
Oh, wait a minute, don't do that.
You
Don't-
He about to tear the place up. He about to tear it
That's
down.
the pressure right there. Cause look, no, Seinfeld again, like that's one of the comedians that I really like study and follow. And I was watching an interview with him. And he was talking about how somebody did that to him. It was like the funniest guy in the world. Like they were introducing him, and they were like, "Here's the funniest guy ever." Blah blah blah. He was like, "Don't ever do that," because like when you build somebody up like that, now the audience is just looking at you like, "Oh really?"
Hey,
You know,
Mr.
like,
Funniest guy in the world.
yeah, what you got for it? So yeah, don't do that. But yeah, you got to undersell. So I'm gonna just be moderately funny. But yeah, I'll do it. I'll be there. I'll
There we
let's
have it.
make
I'm
it
talking
happen.
about. That's what I'm
Got some comedians.
So was it something specific that happened? Because you said you started being funny, and you started to notice that you had that ability in school with the what do they call it in Florida? You didn't say snapping. Ranking. Okay, yeah, it's snapping, joning, the dozens. There's so many names for it. And then you just decided recently, or you left the job recently to decide to put your all into it. But was it something that happened, something specific that made you make that decision, or was it just like you was finally like, all right, I'm gonna do it?
A little bit of both. So, kind of like since middle school, kids, like, oh man, you're funny. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Then I joined the Army. And then, it kind of just like transitioned there. Like every time I'm hanging out with people, we're in the barracks or whatever. For people who don't know, that's military housing. That's not so great. But we're in the barracks. And, we're just having a good time. We're laughing. But it was kind of like when I got out of the Army and I started working at the hospital on Fort Hood, my boy David was like, yo, you're ridiculously funny. You should do comedy. And I was like, man, I'm not getting up there. I'm not going to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
And then he just kept saying it. And then other people was kind of like agreeing. And then I met you. And then you just kind of nowhere was like, you're funny. You got like great comedic timing. And I'm like, all right. I believe in signs and stuff coming to you. And I'm like, maybe I should just go ahead and take that leap and see where it takes me.
Look at how I be influencing people's lives. Y'all don't believe that
You're taking it too far.
I changed your life. I made you a better person, and I need my. No.
It's funny that you took Dave's advice about comedic timing.
And you realize that.
I'm like, cause this nigga, how does he know?
Okay, all right, he's doing all right. It says the nigga
But
with
good
the
job,
lollipop
Dave.
on his sweater. But anyway,
Congratulations.
but yeah, no, we're going the 28th, you said?
Yes.
All right, so
February
we're gonna
28th.
get it popping.
The
and-
last Friday of the month, Black History Month.
Yeah.
Oh, the feature artist is Cecily Alexa, who's a excellent vocalist too. So
Yeah, I saw that. I'm gonna get there.
Dope. Okay, everybody coming through?
yeah, right here.
I wonder if so. I've asked comedians about this too, and I want to get your take on it. Like, do you think like you should have people like that there for your first time, or do you want to do it with? Because like some people be like, yeah, it's good to have that support system, but then other people are like, nah, I don't want people. If I bomb, I don't want people to see.
And I had this conversation with my wife, and she was like, I'm like, no, you're not gonna be there. She was like, but it's gonna be your first time. I'm like, no, because I'm gonna be focused on you.
Right.
Because it's like I and I'm sure this is for everybody, but I have this thing where I want her to be proud. So like if I'm up there focusing on you and I'm just distracted, then I'm not gonna be able. I feel like I'm not gonna be able to give my best foot forward.
Right. Jay, did you have people? Well, I guess you probably because Eddie was there.
Well, yeah, all my performances I had people there just because of the event. So
Right.
I don't know if they were necessarily there for me, but they were just like dope events, so they was gonna be there whether I was there or not. So it just so happened to be.
So that time that you bombed in the basement, was the people there? Like, was your
Yeah, because you remember I told you I got off stage and my man Spoon was like, Jay, you was using way too many big words, bro. so it was good because it's like, because Spoon, if you know Spoon, he a comedian, but
he had to be with a name like Spoon. But go ahead.
yeah, I'm
No,
just saying he genuine though.
Shout out to Spoon though.
Yeah, shout out for like not being like, oh, you did all right, Jay, just you go do better. Like that's not the shit motherfuckers need to hear. Just like how I was saying, you can't watch Patrice O'Neal with like soft skin because he says shit that's gonna fuck with your mind. But same thing, like my friends, and I'm the same way. He was like, yo, Jay, you fucked up, nigga. You was using way too many big words. He's like, this ain't the crowd for that shit, bro. You know, it wasn't that like, oh, it's okay. Like, nah, nigga, it's not okay. You fucking bombed up that motherfucker.
Right.
And this is what you got to do next time to not fucking bomb. Like that whole consoling, like, oh, rub you. Like, nah, nigga, get the fuck off me, nigga. I fucked up.
God.
Right.
So, all that to say, so when I had another comedian, because I'm rough as a host. I'm gonna try to be gentle with y'all if y'all suck. But like one of my close friends got up and did comedy, and this nigga bombed. I gave that nigga the business. I was like, who? I can't believe I let you get up there on the motherfucking mic, nigga. Like, and so I gave him the blues. But it's like I love him. It's like no,
he don't believe it though.
You have to come correct.
He said I haven't heard from him since that day.
Go work on your 5 minutes. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Nah, you
nigga,
need
I ain't
that,
gonna be like, oh yeah, that was good. Nah, nigga, it wasn't good.
You tried
so it's
really
like,
hard.
I love you. So it's like your friends is gonna be like, oh, that was good. Like no, nigga, I don't want to be the nigga that leads you astray.
Right.
Just like I appreciated Spoon when I got off the stage after bombing. Like not only did he tell me I bombed, he told me why. Like, yo, them motherfucking big ass words.
He was taking notes.
Yeah, it's like this ain't the crowd for that shit. That shit work downtown, but nah, nigga, you in the basement, nigga.
Right.
These niggas drunk off Hennessy and pills and shit. Don't nobody want to hear about politics and shit, nigga. I was like, oh, note taken.
Right, yeah. So, and bombing is a part of the process. That's one thing that I've gathered from like all of my comedian friends have said that it's necessary that if nothing else just to get it out of the way, you know what I'm saying, and to understand that it's not the end of the world, you know what I'm saying, that you can do it and everybody has a bad
that shit
set
feel like it though when you
yeah I know.
Just gonna travel into an abyss like oh
and I've like you know, when I first started performing as an artist, like rapping, I've had shows where I like messed up bad or like, you know, did something and, you know, you regroup and, you know, get it back together. But, you know, I can say I've never been like comedy. And that's why it's so different because, and we, you know, we were talking about before, like the difference between, you know, being an artist and being a comedian. Like you get it right there. Like I've never been booed as a, you know, as a rapper. So I mean, but I know like it's more of an immediate response. Like even if you do bad, even if you do bad as a performing a song, like people are just they might get quiet or you'll feel it. But you're right, exactly. But as a comedian, they want to laugh. So if you're not making them laugh, it's like, yeah. So this is all not helping me.
Be all right,
ready for the but I hopefully it's helping Ashley in some way. I don't know. Is it encouraging? To talk about how terrible it can be?
Yes. I like to be prepared.
As
much as you can.
What do you think about internet comedians? Are you going to incorporate internet skits into
what you do?
What you're going to do?
That's definitely something that I do want to do because I do like the acting aspect of it and, you know, just putting your content out there because it's all coming from you. It's all coming from what you enjoy doing. So, you know, whatever platform I can use to just inspire, make people laugh, and just change the narrative, you know, about a lot of different things is kind of just like what my goal is.
Yeah, so, and I know comedians, you know, draw a lot from their life and personal experiences. How much has being married given you like as a subject?
That's a whole set.
Right, yeah. It's comedians that, you know, only talk about, you know, Rodney Dangerfield and take my wife, please, and stuff, you know, that kind of stuff. So has that, you know, I know it's probably a wealth of material right there, just married life.
It is. We'll be married 5 years in October.
Oh, congratulations.
So it is a lot of material, which also inspired us to start a podcast that we're doing, you know, on marriage and just kind of everything on the in-between. And, you know, and being in relationships, you go through a lot, especially for me. My wife, well, I would say we have 3 kids now. But, you know, of course, when I came in it was them and me.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of lessons learned, a lot of, you know, ups and downs. But I feel like,
relationship building and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Because it was 4 relationships that I had to build.
Yeah.
Not just with me and her. And that's kind of like what we're doing with the podcast. We're actually going to try to put our first episode out next Saturday.
Okay.
And like I said, it's just changing the narrative again because, you know, people like to look at it as if our relationship is different, but it's not. It's the same. We got the same thing. We got the same bad kids. Same all of that.
Right.
That's just pretty much what it is. But yeah, it motivates a lot of the things, with the material. I did write a few jokes, with my wife, with the kids, and just stuff that I see going on, around the world. I just try to take stuff from everything.
Is your family prepared to be the butt of your jokes, or are they going to be like, listen, you're going to stop talking about it in your set?
You said you weren't going to say nothing about that.
They better be prepared, because I make jokes about them at home. So.
Just try not to name, just change the names and stuff. Like, what was it, Chris Rock, who said he has a real wife and then a comedian, a comic wife. Like, the wife that he uses in his comedy is not necessarily.
The nigga ain't got neither now.
Right, well, I guess it didn't work. So don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do what Chris did.
Let's not do that.
No
wasn't
taking.
Good enough. Right.
Thanks, Chris.
Neither one
Won't
of
do
them
that
was
shit.
with it.
Right. They wasn't feeling
Everybody
it. So yeah, but I really appreciate you. First of all, just coming through here and having this conversation with us, but also having the the chutzpah to chase your dreams. It's such an inspiration.
Ain't you?
To meet people. Nah, that's Jewish. That's
But you still do it, nigga. Ain't you?
We gonna get some letters about that. But anyway, that's a little racist. But it's like this much. But
Don't send them to Boss Ladey.
nah, yeah. The comments by Jason are his alone. But
Hey.
I don't even remember what I was saying. But anyway,
He's wrapping this shit up, Dave.
the question that I always like to ask everybody that comes on here, I always appreciate the answers that I get because it's introspective, is if you had an opportunity to talk to a younger version of yourself, let's say 12-year-old Ashley, like knowing everything you know right now, all the stuff that you've been through in your life and all the wisdom that you've accrued over time, what would that conversation be like? Like, what would you say to 12-year-old Ashley Brown?
That everything is going to work out, and don't be afraid to be you.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah. And it's I know it's a lot of people out there, and I don't even know if this question is it's appropriate. Well, I don't want to say appropriate, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. There's a lot of people out there that's trying to look for the right way to start. And you're just starting, but is it any specific steps that you would advise anybody to take to start out, in comedy, or?
I would just say in general, that support system, and you can't do it all by yourself. So you need some folks, that's gonna have your back, and just don't be afraid to just go out there, and if you fall, figure out what made you fall, and just be realistic. If it isn't for you, then do something else, because there's nothing wrong with reinventing yourself. But as long as you just continue to push forward and don't allow that fall down to keep you where you are, just keep going.
That's awesome. That was for me specifically, because apparently I'm doing some comedy on the 28th.
Yes,
I didn't know. I came into this day not knowing that was what was happening, but apparently we've decided here on the show.
I mean, the time is now, Dave.
That's what I have a song
3 years.
called that.
3 years.
We're not gonna talk about that anymore. Is that what we're not gonna do?
If I could chime in, I want to
Sure.
just give you some encouragement. I heard you use the word realistic. I think that. Especially as I'm not even gonna call it entrepreneurship. Call it your grind, like your own personal. You create your reality. So what's realistic is in the realm that you're in. So you create that. Every move that you make, every decision you make, every show that you do, every joke that you tell, is from your power, no one else's. So that while their perception is specific to them of you, if you operate from within your own power, you create your own reality. So everything's realistic. So just keep grinding, and congratulations.
Appreciate that.
And that's why we had Patrice on the show with us, because she dropped them gems every now and again, and it's just a single tear just rolls down my cheek, and it's beautiful. No, but that was awesome though. No, that was deep though.
You are ridiculous.
I was gonna, I was gonna make some jokes
it.
about it, but that was yeah. Thank you.
I made some jokes about it. No,
Anyway. But yeah, man. So I want to thank Ashley Brown for coming through. I have a a friend that I grew up with named Ashley Rivers. And so I kept wanting to say Ashley Rivers. I'm so glad I didn't because I'm so good at destroying people's names and people looking at me like, who are you talking to? You know, so I'm glad I didn't do that. But shout out to Ashley Rivers wherever you are in your life right now. But I'm sure you're winning somewhere. But also shout out to Boss Ladey for coming through and sitting there with us. It's so good to have you here. It's always fun when you're in the building. Shout out to Patrice for coming in hot halfway through the show and dropping some gems, though. They say you was out there cussing me out on the outside. No, but... And thank you guys so much for watching. This is the Neighborish live cast, live from the Nubian Human and the Anacostia Arts Center in historic Anacostia, Southeast Washington, D.C. We'll be back next week with the owner and operator of Nubian Human, Anika Hobbs, and she'll come in and hang out with us. And
possibly Wes Felton.
Okay.
This nigga gets his schedule together. But we gonna get Wes. He's gonna be on here soon.
Eventually.
Shout out to Wes. He's penciled in for next week.
Right, but we'll see.
I don't know. We'll find. If y'all see this nigga, ask him what's up. I don't know what's happening.
All right, Jay, you got anything to promote?
Yeah, of course. This Thursday.
Maybe not. Oh, no.
We're hosting So Far Sounds. If y'all familiar with them, they're a pop-up concert series all over the world. So if you can go to So Far Sounds DC, I think they'll show all of the schedule of their performances. It's Black History Month. So, of course, they chose our spot to do their Black History Month shit. But I'm cool with that. You know, so I'm cool with that. And then the Friday after next, the 28th, Dave is featuring at the Native Tongue.
No, it's the girl that's featuring, right?
No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't do that.
Native Tongue DC.
4 seconds of comedy.
Every last Friday of the month. This month features Cecily Alexa. She got a hot new video out, too. It's real dope.
I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, it's real dope. It's something about black love and shit. It's all majestic and shit. Shout out to Cecily. And then
is that what that is up there?
Yeah. And then next month is our big event, our big annual event, the Black Love Experience over at the Arc over off Mississippi and Southern Avenue. That's March 21st. That's just a celebration of blackness. So we're going to have panel discussions, vendors, performances, food, healing sessions, all types of things to regenerate and organize and mobilize our community here in D.C. to do business with each other, to love each other, to support each other, and with tangible ways, means, and direction to get all of the things that we want to get accomplished. So that's the Black Love Experience next month, March 21st.
Be there.
Yeah. That's all I got to do.
All right. Fru Fit.
The only thing I have is, training every day.
Every day,
6 days a week. Start at 5 a.m. and at 8:30 p.m. in District Heights. Right over by I call it the old Marlowe Furniture because I think it's one of the first ones.
Right.
Off Pennsylvania Avenue. Guys, men and women. I had a guy actually early this morning. It was his first day back in the gym since he played football in college. So
nice.
No matter where you're starting from in your journey, whether it's your first time in the gym or your season trying to get back into the game, or you just want to lose weight or just get your mental health in order, come see me, frufit.com. I'm Patrice Fru Fit Jones on Facebook and Fru Fit, FRUFIT on Instagram.
Great. Boss Ladey, you bring it back to unit? Yes? No? Okay. All right.
The unit is a Facebook group, and that's it.
It's a hilarious Facebook. It's my favorite.
I do have something coming up.
Hey, look at that. I didn't know. Go ahead.
I'm doing an event called Prom Promise.
Okay.
And it is my nonprofit, which is called Auntie's Baby, the Lock Mojo, and First Ladies of Diamonds class. We are collecting prom dresses, suits, tuxedos, accessories for children who may not be able to afford to go to the prom. And we're also soliciting donations from people who can donate dresses, suits, accessories, limousine services, makeup services, nail services, hair, barbers, everything. We're soliciting everything because on May the 1st, we're doing a big event to give away these things that we've collected and raffle off some prizes to some great youth who may not be able to go to the prom without our help.
Okay, we got 2 months, May the 1st. So we're gonna get on that. Send me some links and keep me posted. I'm gonna make sure we hype that and make sure we get some folks to
Will do.
donate time and money.
And we give away
everything.
community service hours as well.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, all right, definitely. Yeah, I didn't even know you had something. You got something great. Look at that.
It's on the internet right now.
It is? Yeah. Send me a link. I didn't know.
I will.
It's all your fault. But no, I'm just And again, thank you so much, Ashley, for coming through. This has been the Neighborish Live. I almost forgot what the name of the show was. It's been something. It's been a great show. I always enjoy having these conversations with you guys. Join us next week for more laughter, education, and fun. Oh, no. This is the Neighborish Livecast. Peace.